Hi, everybody. It's good old JR Jim Ross, a member of multiple Halls of Fame and the voice of AEW Wrestling. And you're listening to Bad Medicine Podcast, and you're going to like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bad Medicine Podcast. And who gives a shit what number we're on? We're on something. It's probably 16. Who cares? We have a huge, did I say huge show today?
I don't think you
said it. I don't know. Maybe I'm overstating it. It's kind of a big show for us.
Not the big show, but a big show.
It's a big show. And what a big show it is. We have guest, WWE Hall of Famer, voice of AEW, Jim Ross.
Good old JR.
Yes, we are not kidding. I know you're probably just shaking your head and like, yeah, right, there's a voice impersonator. Nope, it's true. We got Jim Ross.
We didn't do one of those stupid clips where you just play his voice over our questions.
No, we did not. We're authentic, folks. And
we have pictures to
we
prove
aren't even stopping there. We got former TNA superstar and former women's champion of TNA, ODB.
Boom! She loves to say bam.
She does love to say bam. That was a really cool interview. I wish we just had some more time with her because the doors were opening. So to give you a little quick backdrop, we were at the venue for Jim and ODB. The show was brought to you by Dave Hero, which a huge thank you to Dave Hero. I will say it again. Thank you to Dave Hero if you haven't heard it the first two times.
Can't thank him enough.
He's a big supporter of our podcast, and we support him as much as we can too. So to give you a quick backdrop, again, I love saying backdrop, Mason Quinn. That's the another big question on this podcast that you may have. Well, folks, you know, life happens, and sometimes when you're trying to pull 500 pounds for a deadlift, shit can go wrong. And it did for Mason Quinn. So he was not in a hospital because he's a man. He did some self-medication with, you know, the good old sponsor should be of Jim Beam. And he was laid up on the couch with a pulled hammy / shitty lower back. So, folks, Mason Quinn sends his deepest apologies that he could not be here today. So feel free to send him fan hate mail if you were expecting to hear his glorious voice.
But if you do actually care about him, he'll gladly
you
accept.
don't.
He'll gladly accept bottles of Jim Beam to help him self-medicate even more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into the podcast, and I know you guys are anxiously waiting, we have should be new sponsors.
That's right, Dave. The new should-be sponsor should be ODB's Meet and Greet Food Truck Company Whiskey Barbecue Sauce. You can purchase it on odbbam.com as well as soon to be on prowrestlingtees.com. Oh, and you got to have it with what she suggests, pork butt, because it'll be delicious.
That's right. He said pork butt, not porking butt, pork butt.
Next time. Also should be sponsor, JR's Family Barbecue All-Purpose Seasoning. Hey, I had some on my eggs this morning, and they were delicious. Also should be sponsor is JR's Family Barbecue Sauce. Hot barbecue sauce, because at Bad Medicine Podcast, we love everything that is hot. And you can find that on jrsbarbecue.com. And don't worry, they'll both mention it again later on in the show, just in case you don't want to remember me saying it.
And ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited Bad Medicine Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest joining us today, he needs no introduction. He is just the voice of the 80s, the voice of the 90s, the voice of Monday Night Raws, and the golden voice of wrestling, Hall of Famer, good old JR Jim Ross.
Hey, fellas. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on, sir. How was the travels here?
All good. A little rough getting out of Oklahoma City on Saturday morning, but other than being 2.5 hours late, I was good.
That's good. That was it. Well, first question I got to ask, it's been burning on everybody's mind. Everybody that's a fan of our podcast had this question. It's a burning question. Do you still own the toga from WrestleMania 9?
I do not. It was a rental in 1993. So If I did still own it, I wouldn't know where it was. So, but I know it was actually a rental. I didn't see it again after I disrobed in Caesar's Palace in 1993.
And one of the things that we were talking about, we know you're a big football guy too. We're probably going to bounce around from football to wrestling. Kyler Murray being an Arizona Cardinal, what's your opinion on his outlook?
Well, it's hard to practice defending a quarterback that runs a 4.3. You're not going to find 4.3 quarterbacks on your scout team in the NFL or most anywhere else, quite frankly. And plus a guy that can throw the ball 80 yards. He's just very, very gifted. He's polarizing to some degree because his amazing high school record. He never lost a game in high school. Won 3 state championships. He went to Texas A&M where his dad was a starter at one point in time. A great player there, Kevin Murray. But that went south. Then luckily he transferred to OU and he got to play behind Baker Mayfield and practice with Baker Mayfield, be in the same quarterback meetings with Baker Mayfield, and that helped him immensely.
Yeah.
So it was he's going to be good. He went to a system. Cliff Kingsbury is the coach of the Cardinals.
Yep.
He recruited Kyler when Kyler was in high school. That started recruiting Kyler as a 9th grader.
Oh.
So they've had a relationship
impressive.
for years.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember the one play that Baker was suspended for one play, and Kyler Murray ran a 70-yard quarterback keeper. It was amazing. So it's you saw that he had talent, and so they were fine when they lost Baker to get to Kyler, and now they have an Alabama alum now on the team.
Yeah, he was only 26-2 at Alabama. We got lucky there, man. I'll tell you. But here's the thing: is it luck or is it the fact that a lot of these kids are going to look at OU as an opportunity to come and get polished as a quarterback to get them ready for the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to see some more of that coming on because the charm is that Lincoln Riley is a great quarterbacks coach.
Yep.
He has a very captivating NFL-friendly offense. I'm told that they had tons of NFL coaches on campus this spring looking at the offense to add it to their game. Mm-hmm. So you'll see a lot of more of the OU Lincoln Riley offense in the NFL, I think, this year that we've ever thought about seeing.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that because he tore it up for Oklahoma, and now with the new head coach QB combo, and they've been together, like you said, forever, I'm really anxious to see what they can do. And I'm a Bears fan, so.
Yeah, and you got to remember back when, an option quarterback would not succeed in the NFL, and now you see it starting to change where they're starting to do the more RPOs.
Quarterback, true option is probably not going to be, but the pass option opportunities are going to be there, and
Big
why
time.
not? In other words, to me, it's like a systematic scramble. You know that probably it's going to be a quarterback run, but it's not going to look like a quarterback run.
Yep.
So that's how I look at that. They're this good. It's good to be a football fan down there in Norman where I live. I live 3 miles from the stadium, so it's a good experience. I get to see I'm a season ticket holder and all that good stuff. So
you're hop skipping away.
yeah, love it.
Wisconsin is my favorite team, but Oklahoma is definitely in the top 5 for favorite teams. There was a bowl game where it was Alabama and Oklahoma. I just watched the game as a fan because I like both teams, so I was going to be happy with no matter what the outcome was.
Nice transition here, Jim. So you got a huge pay-per-view coming up this weekend with AEW, which congratulations, by the way. It's going to be a huge opportunity for everyone involved. So a couple questions that we had in mind with this. This is from one of the fans. What will make AEW different than what we've actually seen before here in the pro wrestling business?
I wish I knew. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. I'm like everybody else. I have been around the talents since I signed, except Cody. I worked with the other 2 announcers in Atlanta for a couple of days. But I'm not being, trying not to share information. I don't know. I actually don't know. Mm-hmm. I know on that card, it's going to be very diverse. There's Japanese women. There's luchadors. There's brother versus brother. There's a very personal issue between Omega and Jericho. There's Hangman Page and what's the kid's Neville.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Pac.
Pac now. Mm-hmm. See, that's another thing about wrestling. There's too many name changes. That's why titles don't mean anything. They change it to drop a hat.
Oh, yeah.
But I know what those matches I perceive will be like. But as far as why should I watch AEW, give me that one reason. Well, the reason I give you is to hear me again.
That's a good reason.
That's the reason for me and my grandkids.
And I'm really happy about that, and I'm not trying to sound like a mark, but since we've ever been growing up, that you are to us and
Yes.
to probably our generation the golden voice. So we appreciate every moment that you've been able to give us.
Appreciate
So with that, I wanted to ask.
So I'm not being invasive. I just don't know. And that's what kind of makes it kind of exciting.
Yeah, that's what I think makes
Yeah,
it
for
great.
me-
The unknown.
Yeah, if I don't know, and again, I'm not going to seek out this information. I'm not.
You're just going to let it happen.
Yeah. If I go call a Packers game and the Vikings, I don't think they're going to tell me the finish. And I don't know what their game plan is going to be. It's my job to add a narrative to the action. It's my job to add a lyric to their music. So whatever they're playing, I feel confident enough that I can give you a lyric that would be compatible.
And that's awesome. So
great.
with some of your stuff, this is another fan question. With the stuff that you were able to come with but during your time on Monday Night Raw, like I-95 and all that, did you know at the time that those were going to be catchphrases later on?
Of course not.
No.
They're ad-libs, extemporaneous remarks that they just came out. And, I've had my work repeated back to me, he's broken in half and all that stuff. But no, you don't go into it that way. I went into it all wrapped up in the match, so I became completely swept up in the moment of any of those big ones, and then you share verbally what you feel. And I think to feel the right thing, you need to have some instincts, and still have a burning passion of being a wrestling fan. It can't just be a job, and especially at my stage of life, I won't approach Saturday anything less than I have a chip on my shoulder and something to prove. And as soon as, JR, you've proved it. You don't need to prove anything. Yeah, I do to me. I do to me. I need to hear it back at some point when I have the courage to listen to it back and say, well, you weren't too bad. You're all right. But you got a future, kid. But seriously, I was used for WWE last year. I worked 2 times. I went to Saudi Arabia, and I went to New York City for the Raw 25th anniversary show. Both of them were like I felt like Aaron Rodgers carrying a clipboard with bread on the field. I wasn't happy. I wasn't in the game, and I was sitting at home. Sitting in an empty home after my wife got killed. There was just nothing there. And I got really, it's really challenging to deal with. So from a depression standpoint and a not know where to turn standpoint, a poor me and all that stuff, until I finally came to the realization that nothing's going to change if I keep doing everything the same way. So I had to change. And then I thought that I've always believed that the good Lord blessed me with a talent and my obligation to use it as best I can. And I wasn't ready to hang it up. I think I had a few more games left in me. And so now, I still believe that. So now Saturday, I prove it. And hopefully it'll come out the way we want it.
You say a few games, but I think you got a few more seasons
yes.
left in you.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better
I
than.
better have 3 more because that's what I signed with AEW.
Well, there's nothing better than listening, to wrestling and hearing JR's voice. So with that, it's kind of a 2-part question. What is the greatest match you've ever seen? It could be any spectrum, whether house show, pay-per-view, or Raw. And then, what is the greatest match you've ever called?
Yeah, it's hard. Both those are hard questions. Because on different days, I would give you probably a different answer, to be very frank about it. Nothing is so dominant in either of those categories that I can say, without a doubt. I can tell you the most memorable matches I called were Taker and Foley at the Hell in a Cell in '98, because it never dies.
No.
That had to been a hell of a scene for you to be literally
Right there.
right there.
Well, yeah, and it was, and it was amazing. I had no idea they were doing that. I didn't, and and I'm glad I didn't. Thank God, I'm glad I didn't, because it may have preconditioned what I said or didn't say. I said what I said because that's how I felt at that moment. But that was memorable. Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania 18 was memorable because of the the organic role change. Hogan came out, built as the heel, the NWO, and all that stuff, and they thought he was.
Just a switch.
Well, I thought he was a deity of some sort. And Rock had not done anything to anybody in years. Could be a great baby face. Got booed out of the house.
Yeah.
And they were able to change their game plan on the fly. And they had a good match, I thought, and a really good match. I thought Austin and Brett at WrestleMania 13 was really a hell of a matchup. Cena and Shawn Michaels had a great match on TV one time. I think we did in London. That was really, really good. Michaels is amazing. They had to take 4 years off, the bad back, come back, and didn't look like he missed a damn beat.
No. Not one.
All he had was a bad haircut and some brown tights. Looked like the little Dutch boy.
Oh, that's what I was just
But he
say.
reestablished himself as, when you start talking about the greatest of all time, you need to put him in the conversation. He is, and he'll always be him, Flair. That's a great thing about my career. I came along at a great time, man. Look at the talents that I got to call matches for in their primes. That'll be very difficult to be ever replicated again, because those guys, a lot of them, are the last bastions of the territory, produced talents that learned different styles, different audiences, different psychologies, and now these kids are learning to wrestle in a controlled environment by and large. Even though NXT is doing some touring, which is very, very smart. Because you can't learn to do it in a closed warehouse without paying customers. You miss something. You miss the it factor.
Yep. And I just want to kind of pick your brain on this. Do you feel the commentating from your time early on in the WWE to now, do you feel it's overproduced to,
Probably.
like you were saying, feel? You guys were going more on feel.
Well, Lawler and I had such great instincts, I thought, and chemistry, thanks to him, by and large. He was a star of the show. I always felt like I was a point guard. My job just to get him the ball so he could score. That was my job, I felt like. And he disagrees with that. I always put him over because I believe it. He was that good and for that long together with me. In 2008, when I was put on SmackDown, it was the beginning of the end for me there. Even though I lasted until, what would that be, until 19, 11 more years. They weren't 11 fun years.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I got paid well, and Vince and I have a great rapport in that respect. So I was there to make money, and I did. So case closed. I have no more questions, Your Honor, in that regard. But that was that's kind of how I looked at that scenario. It's now the announcers get wrapped up in backstory. So in the front of your very eyes, you see movement, you see physicality, and you see intensity. And all I'm getting is, 3 weeks ago, somebody's getting knocked the hell out of. He got hit right in the face. Well, that was 3 weeks ago. He did. I don't want to know about 3. I want to know about now. What about right now? He's selling. He's hurting. I watched a match the other night I think it was on Raw, where it was, or SmackDown, one of the two. I don't remember. Someplace.
One of them.
Yeah, there's not so much wrestling in that regard. So much the same wrestling, same as. That the contract signing with Becky and Charlotte and Lacey Evans, Charlotte delivered a kick with her. She had her like street boots on.
Yep.
She delivered a kick that almost took Becky's head off, and none of the announcers mentioned one word about it. So that's what turned the corner to get Becky in trouble, was that she got cheap shotted with a kick to the face that took her down, and then she got punished. But they missed that psychology. They didn't give their star babyface their out or the protection they needed, nor did they put over this thunderous kick from Charlotte Flair. So this too much narrative. They get out of sync, out of rhythm, and it's not. To me, it's not great storytelling. I want to be brought out of my kitchen to see what's going on by the tone and inflection of the announcers. They can't cry wolf and scream all the time, but when it's time, give it to me. And if I'm in the kitchen, make me a sandwich, I'm coming back to the television right away.
Yeah.
I don't hear that right now.
No, not at all. So last two questions, because you got to go. We do a segment on here called Pet Peeves. So it could be any facet of life. What is one pet peeve of Jim Ross?
Problem identifiers and not problem solvers. People that all they can do is, Well, that's not going to work. Like, especially in wrestling, you do it all the time. Well, that's not going to work. Well, they just did vignettes. Hadn't worked yet. I know it's not going to work. Well, how do you know? I just know. So you're a problem. So what would you do? Well, I don't know. How would you fix it? Hell, I don't know. It's not my job. So your job is to critique and point out negatives based on your perception, without being smart enough to let it play out and see what is really what did the jury say.
Yeah.
But in life in general, those that can constantly complain about their status in life or their lot in life, as it may be, just big burr in my saddle.
Bunch of naysayers and not enough doers.
Well, what are you going to do? Yeah, I talk to my grandkids this way. What are you going to do about it? Well, I want to get I want to go to OU and I want to get a scholarship. So what are you going to do about it? I'm not one of those Hollywood parents who buy your tuition to OU. You're going to earn it or you ain't going.
Exactly.
So what are you going to do about it? What you're going to do about it is you're going to make such good grades and have all these wonderful accomplishments as a scholar athlete or a student athlete, whatever it is, that they can't turn you down. You earn your way where you're wanted, and that's kind of how we live with those girls. They got to have accountability.
Yep.
I said this in a seminar I did here that the biggest trait I look for in a recruit is reliability. You can't rely on somebody, boys. It's just they're not worth doing business with. Why would you want to?
It's just like a day job.
How about would you fly on an airplane with a pilot that might not be reliable? I wouldn't want to do that.
Not at all.
Don't worry, I'm 9 for 9 this week. I can feel 10 coming through.
And then last question. I know you said you have a big chip on your shoulder. Is there a couple goals that you have set in year one for AEW for yourself?
Well, we want to continue to build momentum. We got to have a good show Saturday. We have to have. And average or pretty good ain't gonna get it. And I have no problem telling the owner or all the VPs and EVPs, whatever, the talent. Ask me. Here's the deal. I don't plan on being average Saturday. I can't be. And it may turn out that way. That ain't gonna be my intent. Everybody's intent's got to be to steal the show and kick ass. But I hope that we build enough momentum by the time we debut in October on TNT that there's an audience waiting for us to get home.
There's going to be a big audience.
Turner. So if we do that, that would be one goal, is to start out and not only just have a good first week, but maintain a number and build it. Maintain it and build it. And because we know that we're all the creatures of habit. We have short attention spans. And if there's the least little thing we don't like about something, we just won't go back. Now, so we got to get you early.
Got to hook them.
To hook them and embrace their support. So, but hopefully we build momentum and have the thing that's nice about this company is it's so young. I'm the senior member here. But I expect to get better at what I do because of the enthusiasm of these kids. It's like dating a younger woman. Well, it is. Really,
it is. It truly is.
Being crass, but an older guy dating a younger woman, it may look bad to other older women. It don't look bad to other older men. They think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I've talked to guys I've got friends that are in their 70s or got younger girlfriends, and they love it because of the energy that they share with that person, whether it be going to a park or a ball game or whatever. It goes beyond the bedroom, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
That energy is contagious. It's infectious, and you take it with you on everything you're doing that's related to that person. I think that's what I'm going to find with these guys is that they're going to be they're fun, they're enthusiastic, and right now they can't get enough. They have an insatiable desire to produce great wrestling and to be involved in building something special, and they're not tainted. None of them are office guys or experienced office guys. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody they're wrestlers turned administrators.
Yep.
And so they know they have the master the art of being an administrator. But as much passion as they have, their intellect, they will. We just have to give them time. And the guys like me got to play it forward and help them out when we can, when they ask for it or not. But we got to be able to be supportive. And it'll be fun to me. I look at it like being the first play-by-play voice of an expansion team in the NFL.
Nice.
That's kind of my theory. We're trying to get this big game of TV wrestling, and we got to deliver. we got this expansion team. Guess what we got to do? We got to win some games. They're not going to stay with us so long on hope.
Mm-hmm.
We can't take the hope away from them by having a crappy show in week 1. So that's what I'm thinking. Challenge these guys. Everybody, we all should be challenged every time we go on camera. The cameras are rolling to kick ass. Take nothing for granted. And the fact that we're not going to produce so much television that it gets old, repetitive, redundant, routine, whatever you want to say. And unfortunately, the big dog in the yard, WWE, they do produce a lot of television.
Yep.
And so how much of it realistically can be special? So I think us doing a 2-hour show every week in prime time on TNT, I think the structure should be in place in that regard. The procedures are in place to make it an enjoyable couple-hour show once a week, and it becomes destination television.
Yep.
But we got to deliver.
Totally agree. Well, Jim, we appreciate your time.
Sure.
I know you got to get going.
This has been amazing.
This has been amazing, so thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure,
Ladies and
fellas.
gentlemen, this is Jim Ross. Anywhere we can find you for your social media, just in case the people...
I'm at JRSBBQ on Twitter. I got a podcast.
which is phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
Listen to it on the way here.
It's doing pretty good. I'm lucky. Conrad's the podfather's taking good care of me. With the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, we've been the #1 sports podcast in Westwood One, which is a nice.
Oh, wow, that's good.
That's-
and we
that's a
were
big
I
accomplishment.
think I looked earlier this week. We're #9 in all of sports, but nothing wrestling oriented was close to us.
Oh, wow.
So we've done well in that respect.
Very well.
So I'm doing a podcast. It's free, folks.
Free.
Not ask for any money from you. It's free.
Free 99.
And you subscribe at iTunes and all the places you subscribe where they play your audio. And then Twitter. And I'm on Facebook, Jim Ross BBQ, and on Instagram. Man, you live if you live with social media, or you die without it. And I'm not ready to. To me, it's all brand building.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm still building my brand after all these years. I haven't stopped adding to my brand and how I can make it better and be better at servicing my audience, so to speak. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I'm doing in that regard. So it's a big deal. So at JRSBBQ, I do Twitter. I don't have anybody that does Twitter for me. I have a helper that helps me with Facebook and Instagram. I just can't do all of it.
Yeah.
It does turn out to be a lot.
Yes,
Very much.
and it's impeccable. It's important that you do it. You got to do it. So I do the Twitter, and so people follow me there, and hope they'll give my podcast a shot. And I know we did a show on the Beware of Dog, that pay-per-view. That was a lot more than a pay-per-view, but going without electricity and power going out and all that stuff. We got a show coming up on the anniversary of Owen Hart's death. Which
very cool.
I was very reluctant to do. I've never done one before. Probably never do one again. But
And then StarCast, right, coming up?
Yeah, all of that stuff we did. So that'll be there. And then StarCast, I'm going to be in Vegas. StarCast this week. The King and I are going to do a show together. Maybe our last one. And I say that without trying to bait and switch ticket sales. Mm-hmm. We're getting paid, so it's not us to sell the tickets right at this point. Mm-hmm. So my point is he's a WWE guy, and I'm not. And I have deep roots there. And I don't know how much longer Vince is going to allow some of his WWE people to do things of this nature, that closely associated with AEW. And me being the voice of AEW, it may not be comfortable for him. So nobody said that to us, just using their logic could be. So King and I are doing a show this week, and it's going to be an amazing event. StarCast on Fight is a good place to look at it. If you can't be in Vegas, it's cheaper than hell to buy it on the Fight app.
Yep.
So StarCast on Fight, or at Fight, but they'll figure it out. StarCast, it's StarCast. Yeah, StarCast. Just go get the Fight app. The Fight app's free too, by the way. Mm-hmm. You got Wi-Fi and a smart device like these iPhones.
You're golden.
You're in, man. No matter where you are, you're good. So, but a lot of good things, fellas. I appreciate you having me on, though, guys.
Well, thank you, sir, very
appreciate
much.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Go and
Ladies
buy
and
some
gentlemen,
barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, that was Jim Ross.
Hey, what's up? It's the ODB, and you're listening to the Bad Medicine Podcast. Boom!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just having great guest after great guest. You know her from TNA Wrestling. She is known as ODB.
Oh boy, what's up, man?
How are you
I was
doing?
gonna call you boys, but you're men.
You can call me a boy. It's okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
So what have you been up to? I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, this is my first time meeting you, but as
Yeah.
in like,
You haven't seen me around the loop, I guess you call it. Well, actually, I'm in the barbecue business.
I've seen those pictures,
Oh,
and I want to
yes.
try some of your truck food that you got.
Yes, so I have a food truck now called ODB's Meet and Greet.
Oh,
Obviously, it fits. It's literally a meet and greet everywhere I go.
oh, that's awesome.
It's been awesome. It's stationed in Minnesota, where I'm born and raised.
You know what's funny is we frequent Minneapolis quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Well,
So
you better stop on by.
Yeah.
The next time we're up there,
Yeah.
we will.
we have a
Yeah.
buddy who lives in Savage, so that's why we
yeah,
frequent up
I
there.
am actually in that area, Prior Lake, Shakopee,
Prior Lake.
Mankato.
Thank
That's
you.
where-
I always say Savage, and
Yeah,
someone
but-
corrects me. So
it's-
Prior Lake.
Prior
Yep.
Lake is
Thank
where
you.
I
they
am
reside.
right. I am over there a lot with the meat wagon.
So can
Well,
I ask
we'll
what
tell
got
them
got you into that?
Well, I got
that venture?
my barbecue sauce line about 5 years ago, and then
okay.
I kind of left TNA for a little, a while, and then went on a little barbecue tour in my Airstream trailer, and then never really went back to wrestling full time.
Oh,
And then I had a bright idea to get a food truck, and just kind of dived right in.
That's
Actually,
the
I just
best
did
way
a
to do it.
cannonball, right?
so
and I didn't really think too
whose
much.
sauce is better than yours or JR's?
We'll find out.
We're gonna do a sauce off later.
Oh yeah,
That'd
we're
be
gonna be doing
great.
some barbecue cook-offs soon.
That's
Oh yeah, I'm
awesome.
gonna get his ass on the food truck. He'll probably never leave.
So what kind of foods are on the food truck?
I smoke my own meat, of course. I always love the meat.
No innuendos there, huh?
No,
Nope,
nothing.
none.
You know me. I have a big smoker on the food truck. Everything's smoked from
Okay.
my beans to my chicken,
Oh, nice.
pulled pork. So I pull a lot of pork every week.
Nice.
Just last night, I had about 7. I sold 7 pork butts. Yeah, I'm
you have the
cramping
truck
up
here?
a little bit. No.
Oh, you should have
Gotta pay
drove
for
it all
that
the way
shit.
here. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
10 miles to the gallon.
I am bringing it though to Crusher Fest
Oh,
in
okay.
Milwaukee,
sweet.
June 8th.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Look at
So
that.
June 8th.
June 8th, Crusher
Be
Fest.
here.
ODB's meet and greet. Yeah.
With that, now do you do food competitions then?
I do. My sauces have entered competitions, and they won first and second place. My hot sauce and barbecue sauce. took
Oh,
first
you got a
and
hot
second.
sauce?
We're going to have to get the
Yes.
hot sauce.
Yes.
We're huge fans of hot sauce.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's no ghost peppers or nothing.
Oh,
It's
but
That's
Enjoyable.
good though. That's
fine.
good.
It's enjoyable.
You don't need super heat. Yeah, if
No.
it gets tingly, a little sweaty, that's fine.
Then you
Like,
gotta
I love
probably
the-
might want to put some cream on that.
Well, I love the flavor of jalapenos, so sorry.
Okay.
So we have a little segment on here called Pet Peeves.
Oh,
So,
boy.
and it doesn't have to be wrestling, just life in general, but if it is wrestling, great. So
boy.
what are some of ODB's pet peeves?
Is one of them being mistaken for the other ODB?
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Well, now like being on the food truck, if they aren't wrestling fans, they're like ODB, old dirty bastard. I'm like, no. I do love the Wu Tang now. I do.
That's how stupid I am. I never even put 2 and 2 together on that.
Yeah.
That's why my brother came to when you were on the show at Rockwood.
ODB's
yeah,
here?
that's what he said. He was like, "Oh, I was expecting ODB to be here." I was
my
like,
gosh.
"Yeah, he's no longer alive."
He's not
so,
here, unfortunately. But
Yeah, but I think he
But
was
yeah, I
happy
think,
with you.
I think just like the food truck has like made a lot of pet peeves for me. But
Okay.
I enjoy it. I just get a kick out of some people coming up and let me see what are some good ones. When literally my menu's right in front of them, and they're like, "So what you got? What's this? So what's in that?" So I have my famous thing is meat in a cup.
Okay.
Pick your cup size, B, C, double D.
I see what you did there.
So it's basically in a solo cup. So you got baked beans, my pulled pork, coleslaw, barbecue sauce on top, and a pickle.
Nice.
And everyone's like, "So that's all in a cup?" So it's all I don't get it. Oh my fuck! So I literally had to walk them through it.
Is that the best product on there? Is your pork? Is that like
Yeah,
your
my
best
pork
meat?
is because I
Okay.
put a lot of love in that pork.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So if we were up to your truck and I came up to you and said,
Came what?
God, that
What?
sounded so bad. I will edit that out.
No, don't edit
No,
that
don't.
out.
You just no need to edit nothing. Out.
Exactly.
If I came up to you and said, "Hey, what was the best product on your truck?" What would you suggest?
Well, my number one seller is the pork you nachos.
That
Yes.
sounds amazing.
And all my entrees are named after wrestling. So I got
Okay.
Oh, that's even better.
the Pork Mania, That's the pork sandwich. Then you got the buff chick nachos after me.
Oh, lovely.
Got the bamwich.
Yes.
I got the roll up. What else do I got? Oh, I got a new thing that's going to be a special all summer long. Everywhere I go, it's a special. It's one dirty bologna. So I've been smoking a lot of bologna.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oscar Mayer bologna or?
No, bigger than that.
Well, with pro wrestling, everyone loves stories about being on the road or pranks. So is there any good stories that
Oh,
you
boy, I
may
can't tell any
have?
of those good stories.
Well, maybe not too much of that high level ones, but
You don't have to name names.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best part, though.
Okay.
I've always loved, I love wrestling. I mean, obviously, it made me get to where I'm at today, and gosh, I'm trying to even think about. I was always, I'm obviously a big, not a big partier, but I like to have my beer and hang out after the show. And I remember actually meeting Ric Flair for the first time, and Batista. This is where I wasn't even in TNA at the time. I was like trying out, for I think WWF at the time. And then I went to this bar with a couple buddies in Iowa. And Batista's like, "Hey, girl, get over here." I'm like, shit, yeah, Batista and Ric Flair know who I am. So I went over there, hung out with them, and Rick's just having a good time. Batista's, probably hitting on me. I'm not sure what I should have banged him, damn it.
you could have banged Drax.
Yeah.
So we're having a good time drinking,
for
and then
you.
all of a sudden, they close the bar down for us or for Flair and Batista. And then Flair decides to take his pants off. I'm like, damn, this is awesome. I love wrestling. But it's just cool. Like, I always liked it's an awesome business to be in and be a part of. And I was fortunate enough to be kind of taking, like, one of the boys. Mm-hmm. So the guys were actually more afraid of me. I'll be like, hey, get your ass over here. I did get to see Ric Flair's Rolex. What?
Oh, the Hall
That's
of Fame.
another story.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame
good
Rolex she's
Yeah,
referring to.
Was it Hall of Fame worthy?
What?
That was just a weird question coming from a man.
But
I never got in the Hall of Fame.
you'll get there.
In our hearts, though.
Wow.
You're always in the Hall of Fame. So then, your early days. What was the tough enough experience like?
Oh my gosh, that was my first. Yeah, it was 2000. Was
'Cause-
in New York, and it was pretty cool. I remember that was actually my one and only time in a WWF ring, and just going in there, and I was just a little girl. I didn't have my double D's. I think I had one tattoo. I just had big ass hair. My voice was a little higher. I didn't go through puberty yet. And I just wasn't in the. I called myself one dirty bitch, but I wasn't there yet. Obviously, it took years and years to develop that. But it was just a blast to be in front of. You had Mick Foley in front of you, Al Snow, and Al Snow actually remembers me out of every single person that tried out for Tough Enough. He remembers me.
Oh, that's cool.
But I made it to the top 25.
Yep.
Then Stephanie McMahon comes out, and she announced the final 12, and then I didn't make it. But I went home, though. Who knows what I would have been doing now. I probably would have.
You wouldn't have the meat truck.
I would not. And I probably would have been not ODB in WWE.
Well, and that was probably a great kickoff experience for
Yeah.
your career, though. It's experiencing all that.
Yeah, because then I knew I wanted to become a wrestler. So when I went home, I looked up schools, and Eddie Sharkey trained me in his garage. So
funny. Mason Quinn, you
Yep.
may know him.
Yeah.
He was sick, so he couldn't be here today. We interviewed Ken, and they talked about Eddie Sharkey a
Yeah.
little bit. Yep.
Well, it was just
Yeah,
funny because they have on the network that you can watch all the Tough Enough. So I was like, I'm gonna rewatch.
Oh,
that was that
gosh.
season 1 you were
Yeah,
on.
very
and I
first
watched
one.
it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I had to rewind.
Yeah.
I was like, look
I
at
think
that. That's awesome.
they show me saying, "Hi, I'm one dirty bitch." Yeah.
So everyone knows that you love pro wrestling, and now meat trucks. If they didn't, what?
Like the meat.
What are some of your other hobbies that you have?
Well, I'm a golfer.
No, I would not have
do
guessed
Oh,
that.
en- man.
Yes.
For
I
real?
do enjoy golfing, yes.
Now
I'll
that's
be
that's
your
a shocker to
caddy.
me.
Yeah, you want to be
I'll,
my bitch?
He's everyone's
Hey,
bitch, so
you're,
it's
you're the
okay.
one asking. I'll say yes.
I only do 9 holes, though, because I'm not a...
Thank
Because it's
you. Then
fun.
you
You
wouldn't-
get a golf cart, you get some girlfriends, There, you just have a good time, start drinking Bloody Marys, and then your day's pretty much set.
That's usually the only time I have a Bloody Mary is in the morning on
Yeah.
a golf course.
Yes,
And
only
that's it.
like a couple of them, then you just.
I'm only
Usually
good for
one, then I
half.
switch.
Half
Of a Bloody Mary because it's too much tomato juice.
Yeah, and then it's on
You
to
like
the beer.
Clamato juice?
Oh,
Clam diggers in
Clam.
Wisconsin here.
The old fashies.
Everybody loves the clam.
What?
Mito.
Weird.
Hey, I hope you like the clam.
So you mentioned you like to have a few brewhas here and there.
Yes.
Name one beer that's your favorite and one mixed drink that are your go-tos.
PBR,
Oh,
Really?
boy.
yes, and then
Never would have guessed that one either, and I'm not even
a
kidding.
mixed drink. I'm a Fireball girl. I just like straight up. I'm not a hard alcohol liquor chick. Yeah, Fireball and PBR. That's a hell of a good night.
That's a good combo.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle would love you
Yeah?
because that's all they drink. They bring it themselves to every family gathering because
Oh,
nobody else
awesome.
will ever touch
I know
this stuff.
some people don't. I don't know why no one likes the Paps.
It's
My
it's-
dad.
it's a
Can
good
I
price.
I'll tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
You may think it's sick, maybe not. I'd like to drink warm beer.
Sicker the better.
I like to drink room temp beer. Room temp beer.
Oh.
And my father, I'd come home every Friday night. He would have a 12-pack of Paps sitting on his stove burner, so they were like 100 degrees warm.
Oh.
And I'd be
Ew,
like, "Are you seriously
really?
drinking that?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, you want one?" I'm like, "I'm good, thank you."
Oh lordy.
He would actually heat up his beer.
Oh my god.
I just like
No,
room
I
temp
like
beers.
mine cold.
So then, do you love whiskey then too?
Of course, that's why it's in my barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Go.
Maybe an ODB whiskey coming
Because I love
soon.
whiskey. You know.
Yeah, you like yeah.
I love a good Jack. And
Okay.
Jack and anything really is always good.
Jack.
I've done pulls of it.
New product for you, the OBD whiskey.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, let's get that in the works.
There you go.
I
Take
like
those,
it.
like get a barrel after it's smoked in your grill, and then put the whiskey in the
Smoked
barrel,
with-
so
hell
it's got
yeah.
the smoke.
I like it.
smokiness. I just
There-
made
there
you
we
$1
go.
million.
So
I can have.
with yeah, right. So
I'll
with
give you
your
a free bottle.
Hey,
I'll take it.
I'll
Lifetime
take it.
supply. Perfect.
Lifetime supply. I don't want her to go broke.
Yeah, shit.
I need another 3 barrels.
So
It's
your
on its
time
way.
is sensitive too here. Where can people find
sensitive.
you on?
I've never heard that word.
ODB and sensitive is not in the same
It
sentence.
doesn't go good.
Where can folks find you on social media, and what upcoming events do you have?
I am all over Facebook and what do you call it? Instagram and Twitter at the ODB BAM. So you can find me all in there. And then I do have a website, odbbam.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of awesome events. I'll be at Country Fest and Rock Fest in Cadott, Wisconsin.
Oh,
with,
that's always awesome.
With the meet and greet. And then Crusher Fest, June 8th and 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for the coming up, like in Wisconsin area.
Oh,
And
that's
are
cool.
do you take slim pickings now on your bookings for wrestling too?
I do, yes, but I like coming here because I still love wrestling. As long as my outfit still fits me, I'm good.
Everybody loves the
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna let you go,
All right.
and we're gonna head out too.
Well, thank you,
so
guys.
we appreciate
Oh,
your
thank
time.
you. We appreciate your time. Everybody listening to the Bad Medicine podcast appreciates it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for episode number,
This is 16. Who cares?
16,
Whatever.
16 and
we
a
don't
half.
need to keep a number.
this has been Diamond Dave. Sorry Mason Quinn couldn't be here. The Answer Andrew. And for ODB and then, of course, JR.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and we will see you all next week.
All right.